What's up, everybody? Sunday, February 24th. Three-gamer. I'm going to be honest with you, it's a bit of a weird one. But we're here, breaking it down. Spread out throughout the night. Late night hammer, Knicks, Spurs. Okay. We'll do what we can. Just going to take a quick lap through all three games. Take some questions if anybody has them. Need to be out of here by 9:05. We've got Liverpool, Manchester United on the docket today. So gotta be paying attention to that one. That's more important than everybody else, right? All right, normal stuff. NBA Strategy is the promo code. 50% off your first month with us. It's one big word, NBA Strategy. Enter that while checking out, and you can get 50% off any monthly package you choose with us, including packages with Fantasy Cruncher. Can't really beat that. So come check it out. Hi, everybody, to chat right now. Give everybody a couple minutes to get in. Peter Baelish, eh? I'd like to do my best Peter Baelish voice. I'm super bad at it, so can't take it from Jason Concepcion. No, not Jason Concepcion. Who is it? Is it Jason Concepcion? It might be. Yeah, him and Mallory Ruman. I don't know. Not important. Anyway, do we have cheat sheets and info for Yahoo? We have projections and rankings for Yahoo. I put out a cheat sheet Monday to Friday with my favorite plays from Yahoo. I try to touch on them throughout the shows as well. Admittedly, we probably put a little bit more effort into FanDuel and DK, but we do talk about Yahoo from time to time. So, after that little long-winded intro, let's just dive into it. We've got three games to walk through. I'll take any questions that anybody has. I don't get the sense that we're going to have a terribly large crowd at Sunday morning at 8:18 a.m., an hour before we normally do this show. But look, here's the deal. I wasn't going to do this at 9 o'clock. I want to watch Liverpool. So you'll have this to download on our iTunes feed if you're interested, or you can watch this on YouTube. Let's break it down. First game up, Toronto Raptors hosting the Orlando Magic. Yeah, and hit that like button, everybody. Mark, you're spot on there. Raptors Magic, 114.5 implied total for the Raptors. 105 for the Magic. So pretty monstrous, 9.5 point favorites here. Both teams solid on defense, and surprisingly enough, the Orlando Magic have been better than the Raptors on D over the last 15 games. 6% better than average, I might add. Raptors just 3%. Just 3%. But Raptors, tough defensive spot, but a little bit too much firepower, I would imagine. Hence the 9.5 point line. So we'll start on the Toronto side. A little bit of a pace down spot. But this is similar to, what was it, 3 nights ago? Whenever, the 22nd, I think. Whenever Kawhi played last. 9,600 on FanDuel, 9,500 on DraftKings. He's just impossible to ignore on FanDuel at 9,600. It's just too good of a price in a spot where you have to play, on a 3-game slate, where you have to play two small forwards. It would be really difficult for me to not want to have Kawhi at that price tag. There's just not enough else out there for me to go a different direction. On DraftKings, I don't love it much at all. I mean, clearly I would have him in 3 games. But I can't imagine having a lot. He doesn't grade out all that well for me on DK. There's a couple other options just in this game that I prefer. And on Yahoo at $42, I think he's fine. It goes a clear number 1 spot on FanDuel. Then a very large drop to Yahoo, and then a normal size drop to DK. As for the rest of the Raptors, Siakam and Lowry are probably my favorite two. They're pretty neutral for me on FanDuel. I'd probably lean Siakam. On DK, similar story. I would lean Siakam, but 7,100 there for Pascal on DK is not the worst price in the world. $34 for Kyle Lowry on Yahoo is not the best price, so you can pretty safely ignore that. Leonard and Siakam are like the clear guys, no matter which site you're playing on. After that, I think you can make a case for Marc Gasol for 5,600 on DK, especially on a 3-gamer. But it's hard to prioritize anything else in Toronto. It's mostly just Leonard, Siakam, and Lowry for me. I wish I had more for the Toronto side, but it's just not the best. Will there be NASCAR live before lock? Not that I'm aware of, but keep asking. If it becomes interesting, we'll look into it. Oh, we got some ownership. Grab some ownership. Shout out to Tom for letting me know. Tom, wow, Tom, you're up early. That's an early run. I hope I didn't prompt your early run of ownership today. Do appreciate it. Whoa, that's a lot of Jokic that I fully expected. Not nearly as much Mitchell Robinson as I expected, so we might need to have a conversation there. That is so much Jokic and so justified. Oh yeah, FanDuel's a 2-game slate. Ugh. And they have an early, I guess, so that's interesting too. I'm just looking at the main for right now. All right, on the Orlando side, we've got Vooch at 10K on FanDuel. We've got Vooch at 9,700 on DK, $43 on Yahoo. I prefer him more on Yahoo than I do on the other two sites, but I have no problem with Vooch here. He just happens to be, in my opinion, the third best option at center today if you're looking across all 3 games. One of which is not significantly more expensive, but one is just a better player, and then the other is a better value. So while I like Vooch and I would have him if I were playing in bulk, I assume that I would have either Jokic or Mitchell Robinson today. Shout out to everybody joining me on this early 8:24 a.m. time. I don't get the sense that I'm getting a lot of the 5 a.m. West Coasters, but if you're here, thanks for joining me. Play Vooch. He's probably the second. I probably like him second most in this entire game behind Kawhi, at least on FanDuel. After that, Aaron Gordon continues to be priced at a spot where you can't ignore him. 7,100 on FanDuel, 6,500 on DK, $26 on Yahoo. He'll be in like a quarter of my stuff. And that's where the public is. I think all of that looks super reasonable. Cycling back to the DK ownership for a second, Siakam and Lowry both projected in the 30s. I would be significantly under that number, probably somewhere in the neighborhood of half. Similarly, Jeremy Lin and Danny Green both in the 11 to 14% range. I'm lower on those guys as well. I don't have a ton of interest in the Raptors on this one. So just wanted to keep some speech here relative to the public. I would likely be very underweight on the Raptors across the board. Heading back to Orlando now. Not much interest in John Isaac. I like him a little bit better on Yahoo and then FanDuel, and then very, very low on DK for me. Evan Fournier, if he continues to play 35 minutes, 36 minutes, whatever, for 5,800, you got to take a shot. It's a really scary spot against Toronto, but public's at 11%. I think that looks perfectly acceptable. Terrence Ross, always worth at least a little bit of a peek in GPPs, but nothing that I'm too worried about. Vooch, Gordon, and Fournier would be the only guys that I would prioritize coming from Orlando. John Isaac on Yahoo at $20 would also be in that list. But Vooch, Gordon, and Fournier rather are the only guys that would be in multiple lineups of mine, just off the top of my head. No interest in the rest of that Magic squad. What are we getting tagged in? Nothing. Yeah, this is just not that appealing of a fantasy game. So I won't have much of it. Get your Kawhi on FanDuel, though. That's the play of the day. No real questions coming in for this one, so I'm going to continue to drink my way too hot coffee. Slide on over to the next game. The Denver Nuggets hosting the Los Angeles Clippers. 121 implied total for the Nugs, 112 for the Clippers. So 9-point favorites at home. Man, this one's tricky. We'll start on the Denver side with heavy chalk. Nikola Jokic, 11-4 on FanDuel, 10-2 on DK, $49 on Yahoo. We have him projected right now on DraftKings for 79% ownership. And I'm going to be honest with you, I agree with it. That seems perfectly correct to me. He is, without question, the best sort of like mid-salary or higher price guy today on the board. That 10-2 price tag is fantastic. Just go ahead and smash Jokic here. I totally get it. I don't really see a ton of like viable pivots, so I totally understand why he's that owned, and I will be playing quite a bit of Nikola Jokic as well. Hard to avoid, man. Hard to avoid. Perfect matchup. Can't ask for much more. Now, Jamal Murray, 6,800 on FanDuel, 6,300 on DraftKings, $22 on Yahoo. I like Murray more than the public. I think he's just slightly underpriced now that everybody's back. I like him more on FanDuel at 68 than I do at DK or Yahoo, but I'm going to have quite a bit of Jamal Murray. This is likely going to be a spot where I'm over the field, which makes me a little nervous. But on a 3-game slate, they have the highest implied total by like 6.5 points. It's hard for me to pass up on that. It's a pace up spot for Denver. All signs just pointing in the right direction here. If Murray does get that 33-ish minutes like I'm projecting, I like the idea of being north of the field on Murray. Millsap, I've got him in for 27 minutes. If that's the case, like 41% expected ownership on FanDuel, 29% on DK. I would be well under that number. I'm a Millsap fan. I would just have to know that he's going to get a lot more minutes, and I'm not totally convinced that he gets that many more. What did he finish with in the last game? Played 32. Okay, I might be underrepresenting his minutes there. Let's go ahead and boost that up. I'm going to give them 29. I'll cut Juancho back. Yeah, even if I get him to 29 there, that makes me feel a little bit better. Let's put him at 30. We'll roll Juancho back to 8. And if I do that, I'm still looking at Millsap on FanDuel at like half of the public. A little bit closer on DK where he's only 29%, but I'd still be under that number. So that's kind of interesting to me. Murray, Millsap, and Barton all 40% on FanDuel. I have Murray on just like a completely different level compared to those guys. So yeah, I would greatly prefer Murray on FanDuel. On DK, I also greatly prefer Murray. Millsap is the guy I like the least. So we need to talk about Barton, who I did not expect to be that chalky. 41% on FanDuel, 33% on DK. He's 5,500 there on FanDuel, 51 on DraftKings. I thought he was a guy that I was going to like more than the public, but that is not the case. I like Barton. I just don't like him as much as that number that's coming out. So he's a guy that I agree with that ownership. I agree with it more than I agree with Paul Millsap's, but he's not a guy that I'll likely get over on. Then we got Mason Plumlee at 12% on DK. We've got Malik Beasley, Gary Harris, Monty Morris, all in the 10 to 16 range on FanDuel. Those are not guys that I'm going to have with any sort of abundance. It looks like Torrey Craig is going to be out of the rotation now with everybody back. That might be on a game-by-game basis. You might see him for games where they need some wing defense. But for right now, it doesn't look like he's going to be viable. I just don't necessarily trust any of these other guys. So just stick to Jokic, in my opinion. Stick to Murray. And then whatever Millsap or Barton you get, I think is fine. What kind of exposures am I setting for a 3-game slate? Do you guys have a general cap or just individual exposures? Everything is set for me individually in my sheet. All my caps are just automated. Yeah, huge one for Liverpool today. I hope they knock off United today and hold off Man City. That's the plan, at least. Caesar, you might get booted for that. I'm just kidding. All right, Clippers. A little bit of a pace down spot, 112 implied total. Denver's defense has been solid, 3% better than average over their last 15. There's some stuff to like here, though. Montrezl Harrell, 7,500 on FanDuel, 6,600 on DK, 28 on Yahoo. I agree with his ownership. He's at 32 on FanDuel. I'd be in that neighborhood. Yeah, the ownership that I'm giving on FanDuel is for the 2-game slate. So anything that I'm ever showing in here is going to be for what is considered the main slate of both sites. So when you're thinking about Montrezl Harrell, that number is for just the 2-gamer. Yeah, look, Harrell's fine. I'll likely have a little bit more than the public on DraftKings. We got Lou Will at 7,900 on FanDuel, 7K on DK, 30 on Yahoo. He's getting heavy ownership on the 2-gamer for FanDuel. I don't totally want to get to that much Lou Will at 7,900, but I get it. I think he's just been playing a little bit over his head. I think he might get juiced up just a little too much. Same goes for Pat Bev, 39% expected ownership on that 2-gamer. I would be under that number for sure. He's another guy that I think is just playing a little bit out of his mind. I'm fine with all of these guys. I'll have Harrell, Will, Gallo, and Bev on DraftKings. Maybe a little bit of Jermichael Green at 3,400, but there's nobody here that I just want to smash. I don't love the spot for the Clippers. I just have too much interest in the Denver side. If I were ranking these guys from the Clippers, it's probably, like, if we're just saying site agnostic, Lou Will, Harrell, then Gallo. No one stands out on the Clippers for me. Everybody's kind of just neutral. I'd much rather just have the other 6K guys from Denver than I would of the Clippers. That's where I'm at. I can't believe there are 112 of you out there right now. Thanks for joining me. It's too early on a Sunday. Get another coffee sip in. This is coffee mug number 2. It's still too hot. All right. Take a look at this final game, then we could take a look at everything a little bit more holistically. Run a crunch or two if we want. The New York Knicks, 7:30 p.m. start, hosting the San Antonio Spurs. I think I got something in my eye. We're good. 106.75 implied total for the Knicks, 114.75 for the Spurs. So 8-point favorites in New York for these Spurs. DeAndre Jordan is doubtful. And if that is the case, Mitchell Robinson night. I've bumped Mitchell Robinson to 28 minutes, which kind of scares me because of his proclivity for fouls. But, I mean, even if he gets to like 26, it's not going to matter. Mitchell Robinson is the value play of the day for me. I like him at 6,100. I would be above the field there. But on DK for 4,600, I'll have Mitchell Robinson in almost every lineup that I make. We're projecting his ownership relatively low right now. I expect that to climb as the day goes on, or if we get any news. But he's my dude. 4,600, it's just so easy for him to pay that number off. I want to have a lot of him, and by getting for locking someone in at that price tag makes it a lot easier. The problem is I like too much coming from the Knicks, and it scares the shit out of me. DSJ, 7,200 on FanDuel, 6,800 on DK, 28 on Yahoo. I'm going to play him, and I'm not going to like it. Moutier being back makes me kind of nervous. Speaking of, Moutier is 5,300 on FanDuel, 5,400 on DraftKings, and 18 on Yahoo. I like him a decent amount. Probably have him in like 20 to 30% of my lineups. And then we get into the muck. The Unicornet, just awful performance 2 nights ago. Almost a straight 0 for. Played 14 minutes or something, never saw the court again. He is 4,500 on FanDuel, 3,900 on DK, $10 on Yahoo. I have him back in for 26 minutes. Even if he gets to like 24, I think that's fine. I'm going to have quite a bit of Luke Cornett again. Thank God all that value came out on Thursday, I guess it was. Friday? Whatever day. Thursday. No. Today's Sunday. Friday. Thank God all that value came out. It lowered the amount of Cornet I had, so that one didn't hurt as bad. And now, Noah Vonleh, 3,800 on FanDuel, 3,900 on DK, $15 on Yahoo. The main question is, does Vonleh get extra time at the 5 with DeAndre Jordan out? And you almost have to assume that he does. They get weird and do like Lance Thomas type stuff, but I'm going to assume that Vonleh sees a couple extra minutes today because of this. I've got him in for 26, and if that's the case, I love him on both sites. The public does as well. It's probably easier to go to Cornet over Vonleh if the ownership is going to be twice as high, but keep an eye on it. See what we see. We'll see if Cornet starts. Be interested to see the relationship with Cornet and Mitchell Robinson on the floor at the same time. There's just so much here to like for the Knicks. Kevin Knox continues to be in play because of minutes. 5,300 on FanDuel, 5,200 on DK, 15 on Yahoo. Look, you're going to have a lot of the Knicks today, I think, and you're going to hope that you get it right. Spurs defense is atrocious. So this is actually an oddly decent matchup for the Knicks, outside of the fact that they are a bad offense. 30th in effective field goal percentage in their last 15, which is dead last. So on FanDuel, I'll give my ranks here. I would say, DSJ, Vonleh, Moutier, Mitchell Robinson, Cornet, Knox. We have Damian Dotson and Trier both at 19% on FanDuel. That is not a number that I would want to have that much of. I'm scared of those dudes. On DK, it's 1,000% Mitchell Robinson, number 1, 4,600. No brainer whatsoever. Just put him in and don't think twice. After that, I would say Cornet, 3,900. Vonleh, 3,900. Probably Kevin Knox at 52, and then Smith, then Moutier, but that one would be a little scary for me. It's really just get Mitchell Robinson in your lineups on DraftKings. It's a no-brainer. The only way that I don't like Mitchell, like if Mitchell Robinson doesn't go well at center tonight, I assume that means that Noah Vonleh plays like 30 minutes and just absolutely smashes 3,900. Because they only have so many options at the 5. It doesn't strike me as Luke Cornet gets a ton of 5 minutes today. So yeah, I don't trust Caesar. I don't trust Knox either. He is a not good offensive basketball player. However, on a 3-game slate, minutes are king. And if you can get even just a decent return out of Kevin Knox at that price tag because of the minutes, you have to look at it. But he is not the most exciting guy to have, that's for sure. The Knicks really have, like, to me, 6 legit dudes in play. And you can make that 8 with Dotson and Trier. I just don't know how to pick between the two. I don't particularly trust either of them today. Now on the Spurs side, DeMar DeRozan, 8,400 on FanDuel, 8,100 on DK, $35 on Yahoo. DeRozan at 8,400 on FanDuel is probably the best FanDuel play of the day. He's on another level. You should have a lot of DeMar DeRozan. Your other choices are Lou Will or you're scraping the barrel. And that's probably why we're seeing Dotson or Trier get some ownership. But you've got Lou Will, you've got Fournier, and then it's Beasley, Danny Green, Terrence Ross, Scraps. I would probably just play DeMar DeRozan and a punt in everything. I would much rather have DeMar than basically anybody else on FanDuel today, just because of how crappy that position is. I can't imagine wanting to pay up there. So don't do that. Don't pay up. On DK, he's getting 30% ownership. I'll likely be over that number as well. This is just a perfect spot. DeMar in MSG feels like a nice thing. And he looks fantastic on Yahoo. DeMar, one of the best overall plays across all three sites. Aldridge at 8K on FanDuel, 71% ownership. Super obvious. You should have that as well. Couldn't look any better. 7,500 on DK, 32 on Yahoo. I mean, DeRozan and Aldridge, just get a lot of them. It's too good of a spot. Second highest implied total. Knicks are bad. A little bit of a pace-up spot for San Antonio. Nothing crazy. Just get a lot of DeRozan, get a lot of Aldridge, get a lot of Rudy Gay. 6K on FanDuel, 5,700 on DK, 21 on Yahoo. There's no reason not to have a lot of these dudes. I don't have much interest in Derek White, but I'm not, mostly just from a minutes perspective. I don't know what he's going to play. He could play 24 like I have him here. He could play 30 because he's the Spurs and he's back. I don't really know. Lots of love for Bertans, Forbes, Bellinelli, Mills. Bellinelli on FanDuel at 3,900. Not a difficult proposition there. Easy punt. I don't really love the idea of going to him for 3,800 on DK, although I'm fine with it. Patty Mills getting a ton of ownership projected on DK at 4K. It's probably not for me. I don't really love the rest of the Spurs. I will not have much exposure to White, Bertans, Forbes, Bellinelli, Mills, except for Bertans. 3,700 on DK. He's an option for me, especially if Luke Cornett's going to get a little bit more run at the 4. I think that fits Bertans pretty nicely. Zip Zap Zig says Cornett, Norm Powell, or Vonleh. Zip Zap Zig, I need a site for that, but I would assume the answer is Cornett. I can tell you this much. It's not Norm Powell. I know I've been getting a lot of questions about the bankroll challenge. Now we're coming up on the first month. I'm going to put out an article this week detailing the results from each day and sort of where I stand right now. It's not that exciting, I'll be honest with you. Down a little bit in cash, up a little bit in GPPs. I don't have any fun pops, so I have been playing less cash. I've been playing more of the quarter GPPs, and then they generally open a second quarter GPP. It's smaller in size, so I've been using that sort of as my proxy for cash. The cash swings were not something that I was enjoying at a low bankroll. All right, we're through 3 games. We'll take a look holistically at what I like on each site. So I'll give top 5 for every site. On FanDuel, DeRozan, Jamal Murray, Aldridge, Leonard, and Rudy Gay. On DK, Mitchell Robinson, Nikola Jokic, LaMarcus Aldridge, Luke Cornett, Jamal Murray. And then on Yahoo, Mitchell Robinson, LaMarcus Aldridge, Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, and Luke Cornett. Those are my top 5 on. Whoa, Zip Zap Zig. Did not expect you to say Yahoo there. So in a Cornett, Norm Powell, Vonleh trio on Yahoo, I would greatly prefer Cornett then Vonleh, and then Mitchell Robinson, and then Norm Powell, who is probably last. I probably wouldn't have Norm Powell on Yahoo in any lineups if I had to guess. Get a couple questions in if you want, people. We got, I don't know, at the maximum 15 more minutes before I get out of here, but it is a little bit of a low volume day. Do we have anything interesting else to look at? I don't think we do. I ran a crunch earlier. I should probably run another one now that I adjusted Millsap's minutes. I could take a look at the results of that. This will be for DK. Run a crunch and we'll see what we get. Hope everybody had a good weekend. A fun little Saturday yesterday. Concern with Cornet is he's a bad shooter. Yeah, but he likes to shoot. Minutes for Gary Harris, in my opinion. I think I have him in for like 24, 25, something like that. I'm not confident. I don't know what to do with that sort of stuff right now. Missed the first game. Who do I like, if anyone, from Toronto? Kawhi a lot on FanDuel. Kawhi on every site is fine. A little bit of Lowry, a little bit of Siakam, but I don't love Toronto today. So you can see there's 200 lines crunched out for DK. There's not a lot of Toronto in that first list, and by not a lot I mean basically none. So yeah, I don't care how someone's shooting over any sort of set of games. So the attempts are what matters. So that would be my first crunch of 200. I would probably have more exposure to Robinson and Jokic and Murray, DeRozan. That'll go up as I sift through the debris. Lin and DSJ or Dotson and Lou in a DK GPP. Boy, I don't know. I won't have a lot of either of those two combinations. Lin, Dotson, DSJ. I mean, it's got to be Lou and Dotson. Although DSJ being so low owned makes me, yeah, it's probably the DSJ lineup, because if we have Lou at 25 and Dennis Smith is at 5, if you're playing a GPP, that'll be better for you. Who's my top center on FanDuel? It's center. No, it's Jokic pretty clearly, and then you can flip a coin on Vooch or Mitchell Robinson, depending on if you need salary or not. But I like Jokic like basically twice as much as I like Vooch. No Lowry or Ibaka on DK. I don't like Lowry nearly as much as the public does, and Ibaka's not really getting any love one way or the other, and I think that's perfectly reasonable. It's a really difficult matchup for Orlando. Is this Serge Ibaka revenge narrative? Something like that. Yeah, I don't expect to have much Ibaka today. Probably a perfect sign for him to go off. How do I feel about Bellinelli or Mills on DK? They are not guys that I am looking at with any sort of gusto. I would probably prefer Bellinelli to Mills, but they're not guys that I'm going to really have. Did I get any here? I got 2 out of 200 lineups with Mills, 2 out of 200 with Bellinelli. It's just not where I'm going today. I could be I could be not giving Bellinelli enough minutes. I don't really know where to take them from. Thoughts on Gasol? He's got a shot on DK. 5,600 could be worth a look. It's hard for me to really recommend him because I just don't see him getting a ton of minutes. But I would roll. I don't mind rolling the dice on DraftKings. Just got the text from my old man. Go Liverpool. Couldn't agree more. Gotta respond quick. Man, I like these Sunday shows. Any interest in Orlando? Vooch, quite a bit. Aaron Gordon, quite a bit. Evan Fournier, quite a bit. Those would be the only guys from Orlando that I really like. I think that's probably it, guys. I took a lap through all 3 games. I'll be around updating projections all day. And then back tomorrow to just start banging it out. Full week back after the All-Star break. You'll get myself and Adam breaking down the Monday slate. Thoughts on the Oscars? I could not care less about the Oscars. I won't watch a single second of that. I don't need to watch award shows for movies that aren't very good. It's not for me. I will, however, sing a bunch of Bradley Cooper music to myself. But otherwise, that's it. Hit that like button, everybody. I appreciate you joining me. Yes, but check out our we did a betting show with the final segment, the last 15 minutes or so, breaking down Oscars talk and some potential good options to bet on. It was Ben and Jordan and Jess talking Oscars. Well, Jess talking a lot of Oscars, Jordan directing the conversation, and Ben fully admitting that he has no idea who any of those movies are. So, boo Liverpool, go Pogba. Boo you, Shim. Boo you. Pogba, Rashford, Sanchez, go Red Devils. Ugh. Yuck. I don't like any of you people. You're all banned. Shoo. All right, that's it for me, guys. We got 40 minutes in. I think that can be enough for a Sunday morning 3-gamer. Hit me up in Premium Slack if you have any questions. NBA Strategy, again, is the promo code. 50% off your first month with us. Come check it out. One big word, NBA Strategy. Get 50% off any monthly package. Shout out to Thrive just because. Yeah, that's it. Thanks, everybody. This show will be up, audio version only, on our iTunes feed. So search for us anywhere you get your podcasts. Search for Awesemo.com. You should find us. We put every non-slate, like any non-time-sensitive shows onto the podcast feed. So you won't ever see like Deeper Dive or Live Before Lock there because we wouldn't be able to get them there on time. But strategy shows, betting shows, the golf shows from Tuesday, that all goes up there. So check it all out. Good luck today. Bye.